I so I was looking for a certain thing, and in the Bible, I didn't find it, but I found something else that I want to share. It's called "Hold Your Head High." Although there are downers in this life, there are also lifters. In Psalm 3 1 through 3, the psalmist says that despite his distressing situation, he is not despairing or becoming depressed because his confidence is in the Lord, the lifter of his head. When we are depressed, it seems everything around us is falling apart. We lose strength. Our heads and hands and hearts all begin to hang down. Even our eyes and our voices are lowered. We become downcast because we are looking at our problems rather than at the Lord. No matter what is causing us to be downcast, the Lord encourages us throughout His Word to lift our heads and our hands and look to Him. We find throughout His Word to lift our heads and our hands and to look at Him. We find one of these many examples is in Genesis 13:14, when God told Abraham, who had been shortchanged by his nephew Lot, to lift up his eyes and look around him in all directions, for he was giving him all the land as far as he could see for his inheritance. In Psalm 24:7, the psalmist says, "Lift up your heads, O you gates, and be lifted up, you age-abiding doors, that the King of glory may come in." In 1 Timothy 2:8, the Apostle Paul encourages people to pray, lifting up holy hands. These instructions are good for us to remember today. When people disappoint us, God wants us, instead of becoming discouraged and depressed, to decide to lift up our heads and eyes and look at the possibilities, not the problems around us, trusting Him to lead us into an even better situation because He has one for us. We may be tempted to say, "Oh, what's the use?" and He just give up rather than moving in a new direction as Abraham did. But the Lord is constantly exhorting us to lift up our eyes and heads and hearts, to take inventory of our blessings and not our problems. God encourages us to look at Him because He has plans to bless and increase us abundantly. No matter how your life has turned out to this point, you have only two options. One is to give up and quit. The other is to keep going. If you decide to keep going, again, you have only two choices. One is to live in constant depression and misery, and the other is to live in hope and joy. Choosing to live in hope and joy does not mean you will not face any more disappointments or discouraging situations. It just means that you have decided not to let them get you down. Instead, you will lift up your eyes and hands and head and heart and look not at your problems but at the Lord, who has promised to see you through to abundance and victory. So let's all remember that, okay?